Okay, Sharon. So, since the midterm election, with President Biden being the first president in 20 years to retain all the Senate seats, what are the key constituencies Democratic Party abroad are looking for next year?
What key constituencies? Well, the main one, of course, is Americans living around the world. Our goal is to register as many American citizens who will be 18 at the time of the November 2024 election. Make sure they're registered to vote because we have this further impediment living outside the U.S. and its territories that we have to register to vote every time we want to vote. Where in the States, you only have to re-register if you move house. So we are constantly, first of all, trying to educate people about the importance of registering to vote so that they can actually vote and making it as easy as possible for them, which we do with our votefromabroad.org system. And we register everybody. We really want to make that clear. You don't have to be a Democrat to have us help you register to vote. And I know sometimes people say, oh, yeah, well, right. But we do not capture information unless people want us to, unless they want to join Democrats abroad because they're Democrats. So that is our big push because we don't know how many Americans live around the world. There's a guesstimate of maybe 9 million, and that's kids, everybody. And the guesstimate is that there's around 6.25 million Americans of voting age. So it's a big job to find those people because there's no phone book. There's no register. Most countries have no idea how many Americans even live in their country. So it's a constant battle to find people, which is why earned media, which is what I do, getting the message out in the press so that people know about us, and get people to come along and register. We've even in the past had a bus that went around Europe, parked at different cities to let people know, number one, that they still have the right to vote, because some people think if you live outside the U.S., you don't have a right to vote, and also help them fill out the form that you have to fill out to register. And again, make sure they know that, if they want to vote in any year, they should re-register. So that's our constituency goal, that we all vote from where we last lived in America, or the place that our parents last lived, if we were born overseas and never lived in the States. But that's our big push.
And what's an interesting part of your organization is that this is open to Americans who had previously been independent, registered independents, or registered Republicans, or registered Greens also. So it's open to all Americans around the world.
Well, I can't imagine. I mean, we do have a few Republican spies, but to join Democrats abroad, you have to just say, that you support the Democratic Party. So if you don't support the Democratic Party, I don't know why you'd want to join the Democratic Party. But yeah, and again, because we're the party, you don't pay to join Democrats abroad. I think that's important because some people think you do. And also, you don't have to join Democrats abroad to vote. We'd like to have you join us. We do a lot of social things as well as political things. We had a big Independence Day picnic last Sunday, which is fun. The whole family comes out and we have all kinds of events. And at the same time, we try to inform people on things like the various tax nightmares that Americans living outside the U.S. have to deal with. So we had a booth there from our taxation task force to help people understand what's going on, the work that we have done over a number of years to try to ease these onerous tax problems that are unintended consequences for folks. You know, there were things that were put in place just to try to capture people who were trying to launder money, and they forgot about the people who were just trying to pay the telephone bill. So we've been working very hard on that, and we had a big, what we call door knock up on the Hill in Washington. That's what we call it, where the Capitol is, and talking to different senators and Congress people and their staffs about the problems that just, you know, we have. Some countries you can't get a bank account at the moment if you're an American. I mean, how do you live in the 21st century without a bank account?
Yes.
Really difficult. So, going back to your original question, it's like I said, I would hope people would join, you know, because they show they're concerned about the state of the democracy, of what little democracy we have left in America. It's terrifying. And that we want to do something about that, as well as things like climate change, improving medical care for people of all ages. Lots of issues we want to deal with.
And switching back to the healthcare question, does the Democratic Party Abroad organization help American citizens living abroad adapt to international healthcare systems?
No, that's beyond our purview.
Yes.
We don't deal with that. It's you know, some of us are, you know, different countries have different rules, and we just deal with American stuff. We can help people with some advice on Medicare, which is back in the States again, but not anything in another country.
Does Democratic Party Abroad help with our military veterans overseas?
It's just Democrats abroad.
Yes.
Because there's the implied phrase Democrats who live abroad.
The organization.
So that's how it becomes Democrats abroad, as in with the implied phrase. No, we don't touch the military. They have their own voter registration teams. And again, it's like we don't deal with voters in Puerto Rico. That's an American territory. They have their own state party, and we don't go on the military bases to do voter registration. As I said, they have their own team to do that.
And one final question: how are Democratic Abroad Party organization, Democrats Abroad, ready to help during the primary election in helping registration numbers, either to vote for the incumbent or other primary challenges to the president?
Right. We do not support anybody. We're absolutely neutral.
Yes.
On candidates during the primary season, and then at the convention, where we have our delegation that votes just like the other states, then we support the candidate that our party has selected. But because it's the Democratic Party structure, the campaigns are separate from the party structure. I know it sounds strange over here, possibly, but anybody can run for the nomination. They have their own campaign, their own finances that have to be reported to the Federal Election Commission. It's only when the candidate is selected by the Democratic National Convention, which will be in Chicago, August 2024, then there's kind of an umbilical cord between the campaign and the party. At that point, the campaigns, are just a free-for-all. Anybody can attempt to run for the nomination.
Thank you, Shannon, for your time.